All right, the other key vitamins that are needed are the B vitamins. And so there are a lot of links between a B vitamin deficiency and hair loss. So you want to make sure you're taking enough B vitamins. And so nutritional yeast is a really good remedy for that. Just make sure that when you're doing nutritional yeast, that you want to get it unfortified with synthetic vitamins. All right, number 7, cruciferous vegetables. If you have too much estrogen, that can affect your hair. This is why women, when they go through their menstrual cycle, tend to lose hair. This is an excess amount of estrogen. And so one of the natural ways to help regulate estrogen is to start consuming cruciferous vegetables. Another great way to regulate estrogen would be to take sea kelp, because when you take sea kelp, you get more iodine, and iodine also regulates estrogen. Now, one more side note on that. Let's say you're menopausal and you start losing your hair. That usually is higher levels of cortisol related to stress. And if that's your situation, I put a link down below on cortisol, because that's a very, very important topic. Let's talk about number 8, selenium. Next home remedy would be something to support a hypothyroid condition. If you have a slow thyroid, a lot of times you lose hair. And one of the key trace minerals for the thyroid to support it and help convert T4 to T3 is selenium. And the best food for selenium is Brazil nuts and seafood and seaweed or sea kelp. Now, if you do sea kelp, you also get the iodine that's also good for your thyroid. And one note about that, you can have a hypothyroid condition from other reasons that are not related to selenium. For example, you can have high estrogen. Too much estrogen inhibits the thyroid function. You could have a fatty liver or liver damage. That can stop your T4 from converting to T3. You could have gut damage from antibiotics, from eating the wrong foods, especially gluten. I would say out of all the foods that is damaging to the thyroid, it would be grains, specifically the gluten in the grains, okay? So if you have Hashimoto's, which is usually 90% of all hypothyroid cases, you definitely need to avoid gluten like the plague, because that will keep the thyroid inflamed and you're going to have a difficult time fixing that problem. Then we have 9, increase your vitamin D. You want to get more sleep, and you want to start exercising to reduce stress. Stress is a huge problem with your hair. In fact, a lot of people, if you ask them, when did you lose your hair? After an emotional, stressful event, because you're spiking cortisol, and cortisol is very damaging to proteins. Now, a couple things you can do if this is your situation. Start taking more vitamin D. In fact, you just need to be out in the sun more if you can do that. Now, if it's winter, it's going to be a hard time, but more vitamin D can greatly, greatly help your hair and lower your stress. Vitamin D3 can act like a natural cortisol hormone, but without the side effects. It does very similar things. It's an anti-inflammatory. So to reduce stress, you want to increase your vitamin D and or expose yourself to sun. You want to get more sleep. I have a ton of videos on that if you're new to my channel. You want to start doing daily walks, and you want to start exercising to reduce stress. All right, number 10. In a lot of hair formulas, they add silica. Okay, silica gives the hair its strength, and most spring water has silica, like Pellegrino, and even most other types of bottled water where it comes from a spring is going to have silica. You can even buy silica-rich water, which is really good for the hair. In fact, you're probably going to notice that your skin, your hair, and your nails will all just start growing, become very strong if you start consuming silica. All right, 11, the ketogenic diet, as well as doing intermittent fasting. If you are female and you have polycystic ovarian syndrome, you have to realize that one of the big side effects is hair loss, because you have this spike of androgens, and that's coming from insulin. So just by understanding that simple relationship and lowering the amount of insulin, you can help lower androgens and help prevent hair loss. So how does that happen? Well, start going on a low-carb diet. That's called the ketogenic diet, as well as doing intermittent fasting. And lastly, 12. If if you look at a lot of remedies for hair loss supplements, they always add biotin. Now, what's this biotin? Biotin helps proteins in your body, especially hair. Biotin will help regrow your hair and prevent the loss of hair. But biotin is a very key B vitamin for the manufacturing of these proteins that give the hair its structure. And biotin is made by bacteria. Okay, so your own gut makes biotin. And so many people, after they lose the gut microbiome, start losing their hair because they don't have the microbes to make biotin anymore. So take a wild guess what food is loaded with biotin and can increase your own friendly bacteria to make your own biotin. Sauerkraut. Sauerkraut has 100 times more probiotics than most probiotics. And the good bacteria in sauerkraut survives the acid in your stomach. Plus, it gives you massive amounts of vitamin C, which is also needed to help grow proteins, specifically collagen and keratin. So sauerkraut on a regular basis can greatly help you reestablish your microbiome in your gut, help give you vitamin C, and give you more biotin. Now, if you have a receding hairline, I did a very specific, important video on that topic, and I put it right here. Check it out.